Hello and welcome back to another episode of Doctor in a Bikini. I am so sorry for the delay. I wanted to make sure that I spoke on this weekend's events the day of the show. That way I didn't spoil anything, and also I didn't get back until way later than expected. So thank you for being patient with me. And if you didn't see where I was this past weekend was actually the weekend that, so crazy that I'm saying this sentence out loud into a microphone, but it was the weekend that the Dancing with the Stars production flew me out to LA, which was so freaking cool. I had to keep pinching myself, and honestly, like, you know, especially if you're a competitor or you've had like a big day, maybe you got married or big like competition or something, I could not sleep at all the night before. It was like I was so nervous. It was like the first day of school all over again, or taking my boards all over again. I don't know what it was. It's like I knew that it would be fine, but I don't think I've done something this scary since I flew myself to Europe and I got off the bus in Barcelona and realized that I was completely alone. I think this was actually scarier than that, in a good way, but I wanted to share all of the fun details, everything, literally everything. I don't know what I'm supposed to share or not supposed to share, but like I'm just gonna share it all because I can. So yeah, okay, first things first, I flew, thank God for Connor. I thought that my flight was Friday morning. Definitely not. It was Saturday morning, so I was stressing myself out the night before. I was like, oh my God, we have company the next week. I got to get everything ready. I'm trying to clean. I'm trying to pack. I don't get home until 8 o'clock at night. Blah, blah, blah. And Connor's like, what do you mean? You don't leave tomorrow? And I was like, yes, I do. I haven't even checked into my flight yet. And he's like, yeah, and you can't check into your flight because your flight is Saturday morning. Pull it up. And I was like, oh. So I'm being dramatic. Got it. Cool. So fast forward to Saturday morning. LOL. I literally, normally I'm a pretty good packer, but it was like, okay, how does a PT show up looking professional enough to be like on a TV set, but also like dance athleisure vibes? I was like, I have no idea. All I knew is that if you're cast, which technically PT isn't cast, but they're kind of cast, you're supposed to be like in all black so you blend in, and then some sort of shirt. But then the PT texted me, hey, by the way, super freezing in here, so you're going to want to layer up. So I was like, okay, how do I show up not looking like a scrub, but also not turning my hands blue? So I packed way too much, way more than I should have for less than a 48-hour trip. But, you know, I had to be prepared, which means I had all my microphone stuff just in case. I literally had therapy things. I was so extra. I was like, what if they need it just in case? And then I had probably 6 or 7 different outfits to choose from because, you know, you never know. I like to be prepared. Hence the fact that I took time to make like a packing list for competing. You know, you can just never be too prepared. So I get off the flight. Some people ask me, they're like, did they have a driver waiting for you? And I'm like, no, I'm not that cool. I had to Uber myself. They were just like, send us the receipts. But it wasn't like, it didn't really sit in until I was on the way to the hotel. And it was just so weird. And I hope you're here because you want to listen to all the things, because again, it's not like me to be like, oh my gosh, listen to this whole fabulous experience that I had. But also, like, I really want to share it because some people were like, quit gaslighting, not gaslighting us. What is that called? Gatekeeping. Oh my gosh, quit gatekeeping us, share everything. So I get to the hotel and it was the weirdest, fanciest experience ever. First off, I check in and they're like, oh, production sent you. It goes on their card, right? And I was like, yeah, it goes on production's card. They're like, okay, perfect. You're all set. Everything should be paid for this trip. And I felt like such a little rebel. Behind the counter, there was like a little fridge. So silly. It had like different alcoholic beverages and sodas and stuff. And I was like, quick question. I said, the sodas, are they complimentary? Or she's like, oh no, like we'll charge it to the room, blah, blah, blah. Like you're all good. I was like, Okay, sure. And I called Connor. I was like, oh my God, I got a Diet Coke. Do you think they're going to be mad? He's like, I think you're fine. But it just sounded so good. And they were, I don't know, it was a really bougie hotel. And it was just like, I don't know. Usually I'm balling on a budget. And so let me just tell you, this was like way out of my usual, like, hey, I'm paying to sleep here. I don't need to go all out. They literally had me on the top floor, right by their like rooftop bar and stuff like that, which was also freaking insane. They had like a view of Hollywood Hills or whatever, and I was like, what even is this virtual reality that I got dumped into? Because I have no idea. And for those of you that don't know me, I have literally been manifesting, hoping, like striving towards this goal for probably the last 5 years is when I first started like learning about dance medicine and thought that it would be so cool, out of this world. No way that would happen, but would be so cool if I could work with Dancing with the Stars because I'm a super big fan. And I just love dance. Like that's my favorite group of people aside from bodybuilders to work with. It's just super duper cool. So that's why this entire episode is literally just me getting the space to geek out about it because I want to share everything, but also it's way too long to text all the people that probably want to know. So get up to the room, and this girl, Gina, the PT, she's the one that's texting me. She goes, okay, just go ahead, take time, get settled into your room, and then, you know, within the next hour or so, go ahead and make your way over to CBS television, and we'll go get lunch and then debrief. And I was like, I'm sorry. CBS television? Like Television City? And I look it up and I was like, what? Like, I don't know why I thought, seriously, I don't know why I thought, here I am flying to LA for the show, why I was surprised that it's literally going to be at a television studio. But I guess like I just didn't put two and two together of like the actual location of where the interview stuff would take place. So yeah, we go to Erewhon, which apparently I live under a rock. I'm sure half of you know what Erewhon is. Apparently it's like a big place where I guess Hailey Bieber has her own smoothie, and it's supposed to be like one of the most expensive grocery stores and a big lunch place. I don't know, but they had really good cookies. They had really good rice balls and this really, really amazing squash thing and cod. I don't know, but she was like, yeah, you know, lunch is on us. And I was like, oh, okay, shoot. Like I had my card ready to go. I was ready to buy my own food because, you know, a strong, independent woman. But we go, we have lunch. We're talking about like all the events that take place. And essentially me being there was kind of like, it was an opportunity for all of the dancers to make sure that they like me and like their hands for everybody that's going to be on the tour. So really that's why I got brought in. And it's just so crazy that it happened literally the week before finals. Because if you're listening today, Tuesday, the day that I'm releasing this, it literally, this will probably air like when finals airs. Like I said, I wanted to be careful. Not that anyone is listening to this podcast on production today because they're kind of preoccupied, but still. So she wanted me to work on all the dancers that were going to be on tour and just making sure that we all, you know, vibe or whatever. Yeah, so we left lunch and we go to the PT room, which super cool. I'll share some pictures too because I did take pictures like a weirdo when I could, because again, I didn't want to be a total weirdo, but also like for me, this wasn't to share with other people or to post it. It was just like, oh my God, this is my dream. Literally being on set while the show was airing. And I was like, I just want to capture these memories for myself. And yeah, so whenever it wasn't weird, I tried to just like get a couple pictures of like the environment, i.e. me in the PT studio, and then just like some of the crazy things. Like, all right, again, if you're total non-celebrity like me, I've never been backstage. I don't know about you, where you are backstage and there's just like lines of food like you see in the movies where, you know, it's a whole like Hollywood production. Like all the cast is back there with their headsets and there's all these like food trays laid out for you. And it's like, oh my gosh, what is life? It was like that, but times 5. Like they had a whole food truck set up outside. They had all these tents of food just ready to go. But in case that didn't sound good, They also had like other lines of tables inside, and then just in case they had like another snack table somewhere else. And I was like, oh my God, you literally can't even go hungry. But Connor gives me such a hard time because I told him, I was like, honestly, I had so many nerves in a good way that I just really wasn't even hungry. So I just kind of picked at stuff. And he's like, what? What do you mean you didn't bring like plates of food back to the room? And I was like, I don't know. I just wanted to be like ready to go, hands ready to treat, ready to walk somewhere. And I didn't really want to be shoveling food into my face at the same time. So it was like, I'd walk by, get like a little hummus, and then mind my own business and just walk off, or, you know, like a couple cookies here and there. Sorry, I'm totally giving you all the full environmental experience. But what was really cool and what I didn't expect was the second day. I'm kind of going out of order because the first day I just treated people, and I'll go through kind of like who I treated a little bit. But Sunday when I was there, I literally got to sit through all of rehearsals. I about died and went to heaven because basically every single dance that they're doing in the finals tonight, it was all the run-throughs of those. And it was so nuts because they literally have a, like, you know where Derek, Carrie-Anne, and Bruno all sit? They have like fake Derek, fake Carrie-Anne, and fake Bruno sitting there for the practice to give fake scores. And then they have Alfonso, or fake Alfonso, with like a name tag around his neck, reading from the teleprompter to go through what they're going to go through with the show. And then the dancers run up, which is the fake dancers, run up with their name tags and go up and get their scores with fake Julianne Hough. And she reads from the teleprompter, and it's this whole thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, they literally practice everything, which was so impressive just to make sure that it goes by so smooth. And also, if we can just take a minute to talk about, it is so small in person. Hollywood really be Hollywooding. It is so big on the screen. You get there and it's actually pretty intimate. And I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder if you've ever seen the show before, which I'm assuming if you're listening to the episode, you probably have, unless you just want to hear the experience, then I love you and I appreciate you. But if you've seen the show, the dancers literally run up these stairs, and it looks like when you're watching the show, like they have to sprint up the stairs and get up there really quick, right? No, it's literally like a ledge. So you can very clearly see the judges from not very far away. And it makes so much sense now. Like when the judges are, you know, giving them like hearts or whatever with their hands, or they're, you know, sorry, Carrie-Anne, like I didn't mean to make that face. And I always thought, you know, man, are they just looking at each other on the TV? No, it just really is that close. So that was just mind-boggling to me because I was like, wait a minute, what? They practice everything from like the dancing with his partner Whitney, Danny, like the whole voice and everything. They practice the confetti. Okay, I really, really, really hope that nobody important is listening to this because I'm going to give a really embarrassing, creepy, what's that? Oh my gosh. Why are words so hard today? Admitting something. Confession. Oh my gosh, Shannon. There we go. Yeah. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I was like, I'm not going to share this on the podcast, but like, I'll share it, I guess. So again, not because I'm weird, okay? I'm a very sentimental person. So obviously, like, I save my little passes and stuff. And like, here's the part that I'm so not proud of. But okay, just to paint the picture, I got rained on with confetti. Like after the fourth dance, I was like, I looked around me because there's a bunch of confetti everywhere. And I was like, you know, it'd be really cool if I like, you know, made myself like a little picture in my office of like, because I like to keep things that I've done just to show like milestones and things to remind me what to be proud of. So like, you know, a certain somebody may or may not have strategically acquired some of the little confetti things to put like as a cute little like scrapbooky type collage. Oh my God, I hate that I admitted that. Again, not in a creepy way, but just like to look back 30, 40 years from now and be like, oh my gosh, remember that one time I went to LA by myself, totally on a whim, just to be there on the set of Dancing with the Stars for the finale? How freaking cool was that? And I didn't want to be a weirdo and get like a lot of pictures of myself. So I was like, all right, well, the pictures that I do have, it'd be kind of cool if it was like this little picture that could go in my office on my desk and have the little confetti and my pass and a picture. So yeah, I may or may not have done that. And, I feel like a weirdo, but also if you were around a big puddle of confetti, let me ask you, what would you do? Would you take home a couple scraps? Like, is that weird? Am I alone in that? Probably. Anyways, they practice the confetti launches. They practice fire. They go through all the dances a bunch of times. It's so cool. The celebrities, they'll run through it. They'll watch themselves on the monitor. They'll run through it again, and they have like a cue to cue. I think that's what they called it, where, maybe they say, oh, we liked how we did it on this round, or all right, here's the correction we made this time. Let's go ahead and try this modification on the third one. And then on the cue to cue is when they actually practice the whole judging part, Alfonso, Julianne Hough, the scores. So it was literally like I watched the entire finale, which was so cool. And also, just to give credit, they are so much better in person. I mean, they are impressively smooth and sharp. I don't think TV gives them enough credit for how hard they work and how good they look. And the people that I was working on, they told me, they go, yeah, today is a light day. And I said, oh, how many more hours do you have to go? They go, oh, probably about 7 more hours. And I was like, what? Like, even though I am a dancer, I should know. Somehow it was so mind-boggling to me, the fact that they are literally practicing from the very start of the day until on average around 1:30 at night, people, all week. I mean, we know from the little snippet, it's like, oh, they struggled in practice, or man, I'm never going to get this, or nothing is sticking. And you see this cute little 60-second snippet of their practices. No, they're literally going from like 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. every single day. I'm like, oh my God, you athletes, no wonder. I mean, yeah, so that was just insane. Between the venue, the lighting, the camera crew, they had all these different cameras, just seeing the people with the cameras on the floor, literally running around the couple while they're dancing just to see how they get the angles. There's a spider camera that comes down on the cables. And it was so sweet. You know how some celebrities, they'll take the time, to thank production and lighting and crew. And to be honest, sometimes when they do that, it almost comes off like a formality, right? Like they're kind of saving face, or maybe they're just being polite, or maybe they just really are a good human, but they're just saying it to be thankful. No, it was so sweet and so evident that they all truly care for each other. I mean, they were hugging each other. They were making videos and dancing with the crew. The crew was literally clapping and cheering for them before and after every single dance. I got to see Mandy Moore choreographing in real life and going through. And as a dancer, it's just so funny. I forget that this isn't real human reality for people, because I told Connor and he was like, damn. And I said, no, that's just kind of the dance world. Like at one point, Mandy Moore was like, what was it? 5, 6, 7, 8. Ezra, step it up. You're not even line with Gleb. Like, it was just like, you are not even close. And 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like, oh my gosh, savage. But that's just like, it do be like that. And they're all just like happy to be there with a smile, having a fun time, no matter what injuries they have, because trust me, I got to hear and feel all of the injuries, and they're all in the hurt house constantly. But not enough to hold them back, which is also just so impressive. Yeah, it was just so endearing how sweet all the cast and production was, and it's just so evident in person to see all of these little things that have to work 100% right. I mean, while I was sitting there, I even saw a wardrobe come by, and it was like option A or option B for this couple. And I mean, I was obviously from a distance, but I see this person holding up a lime green suit and then this other sparkly suit. And then someone else comes up and points at one and is like, nope, that doesn't look good on camera. And then I look over at the monitors. I'm like, ooh, they're right. That doesn't look good on camera. So just, it's crazy how tight their schedules are, how much they're going. Just the way everything flows in. I mean, certain people, they had like 15 minutes to see me and work with me. And it was like, all right, I got to go to costume. Thank you so much. It was so great. And yeah, I mean, on top of that, with how tired they all were and how busy they all were, I mean, they were all so freaking nice. I can't even tell you guys. Like, oh my gosh. So the first person I worked on was Gleb, and again, they were all so nice and so charming. Looking back, I think he may have been messing with me, but this man, literally, I was working on like his pec and his subscap and all that, and I look down on his rib cage and I go, "Oh, what's the astrology tattoo?" And he's just, big chillin', smiling, eyes closed, and he goes, "Virgo." And I said, "Oh, you're a Virgo?" And he goes, "You're a Virgo." I was like, I am a Virgo. How did you know that? He goes, "Yeah." And he said some random date. And I said, "No." And he goes, "Yeah, you're right. I'm just kidding. Your birthday's August 31st. And I was like, "What?" I literally said, "What the hell?" Like, how did you know that? He goes like, "Oh, I just had a feeling." And he goes, "That was my grandpa's birthday." I was like, "Oh." And I literally didn't know what to say. I was like, "Do you know my moon and my rising too? Like, are you that good?" But looking back, I think he was messing with me because when I worked on Brit later, also super sweet, and I got to hear about wedding planning with her and all that stuff. She was like, "Oh, Shannon, so are you from Arizona?" And in my mind, I was like, okay, A, she's really good at names because I mentioned it one time, and B, I didn't mention that I was from Arizona. So I'm like, maybe they all actually knew my information, and that's how my birthday was guessed earlier, but to be determined. But I just thought that was hilarious because if you can picture the way my jaw went to the floor, I was like, what? Because most people even forget that there are 31 days in August. Usually people say, "Oh, the end of August is the 30th," and I say, "No, it's the 31st. But anyways, I just thought that was really funny. Gleb was super nice, super funny. I met Ezra. He's adorable and so sweet. And one thing that's really cool too about dancers is it's almost like there's an immediate barrier or boundary that isn't there. And what I mean by that is I feel like me and my dancers, we're all so open and affectionate, I guess. We're not shy. We've all been pretty much half naked around each other. A lot of us are huggers. We don't really have a small personal bubble, you know what I mean? Or we don't have a big personal bubble. So a lot of them, they met me and it was just instant hugs. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And then they'd see me on set later and they'd be like, "Hi, good to see you again. How are you today? Do you think you're coming on tour with us?" Just literally so sweet. So Ezra was one of those people, and it was just so funny hearing him talk about his partnership with Anna Delvey and just some of the adventures they've had. And he was just so fun. I loved him too. Joey was literally just as nice in person as you would think he is. Literally just seems so humble, very friendly. Same with Steven, all smiles, super sweet, nothing but genuine vibes off of him, just very happy to be there. I met Riley earlier this year at Mesa, and same with Daniela, and they were both also very sweet, big huggers. So they are just as sweet as they seem on camera, if not more sweet, which is just I don't know how possible that is, but they're super amazing. Both Britt and Emma, they're super duper sweet too. I feel like a broken record, but just everyone was so nice and genuine and warm. Oh my gosh, Alan is hilarious. I was working on him and he made a joke right when he came in. He was like, "My big toe hurts. Can I take my pants off?" I was like, "Oh," but then he actually took his pants off. So I was like, oh my God, all right. Which again, I don't mind between PT me and dancer me, but it was I almost wasn't sure how I'm supposed to act with everybody yet. I'm so new. They're all established with Gina over the last 9 years. Here I am, this new person, and I'm trying to get a feel for the norms, the humor. It's imagine if it's your first day on the job and someone just makes that joke and you're like, "Oh." You're like, "I love that humor, but I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know. I don't know where to look." So I'm working on him and literally just socks and chonies. That's it. And I was like, "Oh, I like your socks. My husband wears those socks." And he goes, "These are your husband's socks." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, I don't even know how to act. He's amazing. So him and Alona, it makes so much sense that they are literally the perfect pair. Because also Alona, so funny, just as funny on camera as she is off. She was also somebody that was hugging production. She was making TikTok videos the whole time. I literally sat next to her during one of her TikTok videos. Connor was like, I wish your shoulder was in there or something. I said, yeah, no, we were literally thigh to thigh when she made that TikTok. I met some of the swing dancers like Kaylin, Roman from So You Think You Can Dance, Marquette. He was super, super awesome too. Oh my gosh. Just so many people. That was just so wild. Everyone was so welcoming. Brandon kept sitting next to me and just talking about, his wife and their house that they're building, and everyone was just so sweet. I feel like I'm probably forgetting a whole bunch of details, but those are the main takeaways. Was just everyone was so welcoming, and production was crazy and so cool, and the set, I was just so impressed by how many people were there, like how literally the true village it takes to air this show that I've been watching for years. I just couldn't get my mind around all these things that have to go right and all these things that they practice. Like I totally underestimated all that. So that was nuts. Yeah. And I mean, also too, just the amount of pains that some people are in. Oh my gosh, how could I forget too? I worked on Pasha. He was super sweet. Chandler, I love Chandler. You can just so tell how much of her heart and soul she has put into this. I mean, I can empathize with her because she was opening up to me about how she's more of a perfectionist type. And I was like, I can totally understand. And I think it's so evident in everything she does, how much she cares and how much she puts into her craft. So I didn't get to meet Danny, but again, I watched him and Whitney from afar during one of their dances, and same exact thing. I don't think people realize just how much time and effort they put into these dances and how in the zone. I mean, just to watch these people over and over and over again go full out, and they're tired, they're all injured because they all are going to PT for something. I didn't get to treat everybody, but I treated most people. And yeah, just so impressive. So I mean, again, not in a creepy way, but it made me even more of a fan of the show, because I just don't think an hour or two a week puts enough emphasis on how hard these people work. So yeah, really, really cool experience. I can't even begin to share everything that I saw and experienced over those 2 days. It was just literally did not feel real. Still doesn't feel real. I still don't even have the right words to share everything. But as far as what happens now, so I am essentially waiting most likely until next week, just because it's literally the season finale and Thanksgiving this week. So the idea of, confirming who is going on the road with them is probably not top of their list, and I don't blame them. So we will find out hopefully next week what that means. And if you're just tuning in this week because you saw all of my spam Instagram posts and you're like, I just need to know what this lady was talking about, spoiler alert, basically what I'm waiting to hear next week is if I will be going on tour with them for the Pros Tour. So if I do go on tour with them, basically what that looks like is I am living with the dancers on a bus. So it's my understanding there's a crew bus, but since PT isn't necessarily for the crew, so I don't treat crew, I don't treat production. I'm literally solely there just for the dancers, and I only work closely with the dancers and their schedule at all times, and I literally share a sleeping space with them. So you can see why I was super, super nervous about making sure I made a good impression. Obviously I'm a fan, but I didn't want to come off like I was a super fan, because I'm not there because I'm fangirling. I'm there because I have literally always wanted to work for them as a PT. So professionally, that's been a huge goal of mine. Obviously, I also love, performing arts too. So I nerd out about the art component of it. It's not the whole celebrity part that I get all like juiced up about. Like I said, I didn't even know Air One existed. I joked, I was like, I probably could have walked by Hailey Bieber and I would not have noticed. But Anyways, basically I would be living on a bus with them, and I would just be at their service for X amount of hours on certain days. And it was just crazy because I asked Gina, I was like, okay, so how does this work? Like, do they email me? Is there like a scheduling system? And she's like, no, it's just they literally text you whenever they want to come see you. And otherwise, when you're off is when they're off, and you're all just kind of on the bus together. And she's like, don't feel pressured. Like, you don't have to hang out with everybody all the time, or like your time is your time. And I kind of laugh because, like, for me, if you know me, I am so the person that, like, I make friends on vacation. I make friends at school. I make friends at the store. Like, I love to be friends with people around me and friendly. So I was like, I mean, I'm not going to not live with these people. And if they want to hang out with me, great. I don't want to initiate that, though, and come off as a weirdo, because also, like I said, I'm not like the starstruck type, but like, you're on the road with people for 3 months. I would imagine like you kind of want friendship with people, So anyways, that's just going to be so crazy. And yeah, I can't even so crazy to navigate, because I guess I want to be respectful and have as much of a boundary and not like overstep it all. But like I said, my nature is very friendly, and I'll make friends with whoever, let alone if I'm literally sharing a bunk bed with somebody. It's, I don't know. Anyways, so I feel like I was going to share something else, but I can't remember. Yeah. So the tour, as long as all goes well, would be for 3 months if they give me the tour and if they give me the whole tour. You can see on their website or on their Instagram all the places they go, but essentially they start on the East Coast. I want to say they go up into Canada, and then they come back down to the Southeast Coast, but I could be totally wrong on the order there. I don't know. Like I said, the word to describe me lately is very careful. And it kind of drives Connor nuts, because he's like, you need to say absolutes, like, when this happens, this will happen. And I think there's just so many things. Like I said, this is one of the wildest dreams that I've wanted to come true. And it's almost like you just want to be hopeful, but also it's just like, this is the only part of the bodybuilding part. It's just like when you're trying to win your pro card, right? Like, you speak it into existence. You're like, I know I can do it. I know that I will do it. But for now, I'm just grateful for the opportunities that are coming my way. And I am just putting one foot in front of the other and controlling what I can and hoping for the best. And I think that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just hoping for the best. And I started to panic a little bit when I was over there, because although it's super exciting, like I said, I think this is the scariest thing I've ever done. And I was just getting a little overwhelmed at the idea of being home, or being away from home for that long, and like living with people that you're like, okay, I feel like I'm likable. I think these people will like me, but oh my God, like, what if they don't like me? Or like, what if, like, you're signing up for 8 roommates. I don't know about you, but in the past, I was nervous about 1 roommate, let alone when we had a townhome of 4, because the odds go up drastically of like, ooh, something's going to happen, let alone 8 of us in one bus with bunk beds. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm not cool enough. So I don't know. I just got so nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be on prep. I will be on prep. How in the heck will I make this happen? All the shows I want to do are in the spring. We literally get back from being off of the road in the spring. So I was like, oh my gosh. So it was so much excitement and so much overwhelming emotion this past weekend that by the time I got into the lift, I don't remember the last time that I've had such an adrenaline crash. But oh my God, as soon as I put my luggage in the trunk and then I got into the back seat, I buckled up, and all of a sudden it was like, vroom. My whole face fell. I just felt like I could take a nap. I was just so freaking exhausted. And then there was just some traveling chronicles too. And I was like, oh my God, just get me home. So it's been a lot. And I haven't wanted to share too much on social media because, again, I don't know what I can and cannot say at this point. I don't know how closely things are being monitored on my social media. So I don't want to put too much out there. But I feel like my podcast is safe, so I'm just sharing a little bit. And if you're listening, I'm just trusting you to keep the old confetti detail to yourselves because, like I said, I'm not a weirdo. I'm just very sentimental. Like, I keep tickets, I keep wristbands, I keep, all sorts of stuff. I have like a cute little memory box. So any life accomplishment that I've had, I like save something. So I think that's everything though. And if I forgot anything, I guess I'll do like a cute little prediction. I don't know why I said it's cute, but yeah, I'll do a little prediction. So I think tonight I honestly think either Joey or Alona is going to win. And here's my thoughts. Everybody there, I feel like, is working their tail off and they all deserve to win. I feel like, and some of the pro dancers, because I asked some of them, I was like, so what do you think? And they all had these crazy algorithms and reasons why they thought this combination of people might win versus these combinations of people. I think so many of them deserve to win, first of all. Not just Joey, not just Alona. But based on the rumblings, I feel like if they go off of most improved, then it might be Joey and it might be Alona. I'm not sure as far as like following goes and popularity and all that. I don't really know or keep up with who's got more votes or whichever. I don't really usually pay attention to that kind of stuff. I feel like if it's just based off of dancing ability and just like innate talent, obviously Chandler is just like a profound dancer. I think Steven, he is so athletic and positive and has a bright energy. Do I think he might win tonight? Unfortunately not, although I love him in his heart and whole soul so much. Like, I hate saying, that someone's not going to win, but I feel like if I'm guessing, I don't know if him and Riley are going to win. And then, I love Danny too. I feel like he's trying so hard, and his dance tonight is actually such a fun dance too. I only saw Chandler's, Danny's, and, oh my gosh, who else's did I see? I saw the pro dances and the intro, and I saw, oh my gosh. Oh, duh, I saw Alan and Alona's. So, can't speak for Joey's dance, and I can't speak for Steven's dance, but of the other ones, I feel like they were all super awesome routines, as always. So yeah, but I don't know if Danny's gonna win, but maybe. I also feel like he's tried so hard too, so tough. But I feel like if I'm guessing that it might be Joey or Alona, but it's also a really tight squeeze with Chandler, just based off of how good she is. So we will see. But with that being said, I'm going to log off so I can tune into the finals. And thank you so much for being so supportive and showing up and listening to this podcast. I know I always tell people, I say my podcast is really about self-improvement and life. And most of the time it's just from the perspective of someone who's a bodybuilder and a healthcare provider. But I truly believe, like I said a lot in my earlier episodes when I started the podcast, I truly believe that we are more than one thing. So I hope that most of you appreciate that not every single episode is so bodybuilding heavy, because I feel like for me, the only reason why I'm able to truly continue bodybuilding in a healthy way is I do hit the reset button sometimes. And that means diversifying my content, what I consume, what I read, the things that I listen to. I like to make sure that I am honoring all the things that make me me. And sometimes that means even the episodes. They might be, right now, more Dancing with the Stars heavy, just because, obviously. And sometimes they might just be more life lessons. And others, like maybe when I'm deep in the thick of prep, they may be very bodybuilding heavy. So I appreciate those of you who continue to show up and support me and share me on your stories and share with your friends, because it definitely gives me some nice reassurance that other people appreciate it by seeing it through those lenses too. I think sometimes it's easy for me because obviously bodybuilding is such a small world, which means that I know other people, or I have met other people that have podcasts with very specific niche content like bodybuilding. And sometimes I think to myself, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I being too scattered? Or is it a good thing that I'm not solely the same topic? Because I know when I'm the consumer, sometimes I need a break. Sometimes I need a break from self-help. Sometimes I need a break from like spiritual stuff. Sometimes I need a break from bodybuilding. And I'm like, ooh, I don't really want to listen to an episode about meal prep this week. I need something funny today, or I need something more lighthearted, or I need something that's more emotional. So honestly, I feel like since I'm that way, it would be weird if my podcast wasn't that way. So for those of you that support, I appreciate you more than you know, and I will keep everyone here updated first. Once things are signed, I will go ahead and share more of that on Instagram and all the fun stuff again. So if you're not following that, that is Doctor in a Bikini or All of the Shenanigans. And on behalf of Connor, when things get signed, a lot of my content will be tailored towards staying on track on the road, vlogging what a day in the life looks like, all of that fun podcast stuff. So I hope that y'all have a great week, and please say some good vibes for me. I really appreciate you. I'll keep y'all updated, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.